The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or CFPB, is keeping a close eye on how financial services, loans, credit cards, new products like buy now, pay later, how all of that is now being used.
Income inequality is rising, meaning fewer people are benefiting from any new income being created. In order for the problem to be fixed,
the American dream is coming to an end. Every year since the end of the 70s, the wealth of the middle-class families has been disappearing. High inflation and economic instability caused by the criminal negligence of the governments have brought the country where we are now. For instance, different studies show that before the Great Recession in 2007, the middle 60% of American households had an average income of over $76,000. However, if inequality had not increased, their average income would have been $94,000, 23% higher, or almost $18,000 more. Thus, it's now unimaginable to say that the income of one breadwinner in a household can afford to pay for mortgage, rent, food, and education, as everything has become significantly more expensive. But the real problem is that the next recession is looming and almost nothing has been done to prepare for a hard time. Yet the condition of the economy is getting worse as new problems like the banking crisis, housing sector crash, and retail industry collapse emerge. So in this video, we'll cover 15 facts that prove the demise of the US household economy. But before moving to the list, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell so that you always stay informed on America's most important economic topics. So, without any delay, let's start with the first fact. 15. Families don't have emergency funds. A recent poll conducted by CNBC and Momentive revealed that over half of Americans, specifically 53%, do not have an emergency fund. This percentage increases significantly to 74% for individuals with a household income below $50,000 per year. For those who do have an emergency fund, which is intended to assist during unforeseen circumstances, around 40% have saved less than $10,000 for this purpose. 14. Youth workforce is declining due to aging population. OECD and Moody predict that by 2029, the share of the U.S. working age population will shrink to 61.3%. Moreover, according to Moody's estimate, around 1.4 million American workers retired, resulting in a 70% decline in labor force participation since the end of 2019, mainly due to aging workers. Furthermore, the U.S. is facing a significant loss of talent in the infrastructure workforce. According to recent research by Brookings, around 17 million infrastructure workers are expected to permanently retire or move to other jobs over the next 10 years. These workers are not limited to construction workers, but also include plumbers, electricians, civil engineering technicians, and many other occupations. 13. Household debt increases at a concerning pace. According to a recent study by NerdWallet, the total debt of U.S. households has increased by 7.65% to reach $16.5 trillion. On average, American families owe approximately $222,000 in mortgages, $17,000 in credit card debt, and $29,000 in auto loans as of last year. 12. Medical bills are the leading reason for bankruptcy in the United States. Studies suggest that over 60% of bankruptcies were caused by medical problems, while another states that more than 2 million individuals suffer negative consequences due to their medical expenses. 11. Student debt is a severe burden for the young generation. Student loan debt in the United States totals $1.75 trillion US dollars. According to McKinsey, the average student debt has increased by 45% between 2006 and 2016, after accounting for inflation. During the same period, sticker prices have gone up by 22%, and the weighted average cost to attend has increased by 14%. 10. Income disparities growing. In recent years, the gap in wealth between families with high incomes and those with lower or middle incomes has widened significantly. Only those in the upper income bracket have seen an increase in their wealth, with a median rise of 33% between 2001 and 2016. In contrast, middle-income families have experienced a decrease in their median net worth, down by 20%, while lower-income families have lost 45%. In 2016, the wealth of the families in the upper income bracket was 7.4 times greater than that of middle-income families, and a staggering 75 times greater than that of lower-income families. 9. Tens of millions of Americans are low-wage workers. According to a study by the Brookings Institution, 44% of workers aged 18 to 64 in the United States earn low hourly wages, which amounts to more than 53 million people. The majority of these individuals, 56%, fall into the age bracket of 25 to 50, which is also the group most likely to be raising children. 43%. 8. Childcare in America is getting more expensive. For example, Care.com reports that about half, 51% of families, said they spend more than 20% of their household income on childcare, and 72% reported spending 10% or more. According to Childcare Aware, nearly 9,000 childcare centers closed down from December 2019 to March 2021. As a result, a lot of parents are now dealing with wait lists that are at least 2 years long. There has also been an increased demand for nannies and babysitters as parents in hybrid roles look for help covering non-traditional work hours. 7. Food insecurity is a problem that bothers millions of households in the U.S. According to the USDA, more than 33 million people, including 5 million children, are food insecure. No community is spared, with rural areas, families with children, and communities of color disproportionately affected. Feeding America reports that 72% of the families who receive assistance from its affiliated food banks have an annual household income of a little over $9,000 or less, which is at or below the federal poverty line. Consequently, they struggle to afford enough food for their households. 6. Poverty in America remains high. According to the latest report from the United States Census Bureau in January 2021, 37.9 million Americans, which is 11.6% of the total population, are living in poverty. It is surprising to note that America ranks first as the wealthiest nation in the world in terms of GDP, yet poverty still persists. 5. Food prices skyrocketed, forcing families to tighten their budgets even more. Recent data shows that in April, food at home and food away from home is over 7% more expensive than the previous year. However, prices of eggs, fats and oils, cereals and bakery products, dairy products, and poultry were affected the most by the recent economic downturn. The egg category experienced the most significant increase in food prices between December 2021 and December 2022. Prices of eggs rose by nearly 60% during this period, with fats and oils coming in second place, with a price increase of over 23%, and dairy over 15%. 4. The young generation cannot afford a house, a cornerstone of economic stability. Fewer millennials are buying houses compared to previous generations. According to a 2019 survey by Fannie Mae, 55% of millennials and Gen Zers believe that owning a home is not financially feasible. The survey pointed towards the high cost of mortgages, stricter lending requirements, and personal financial issues as the primary reasons behind this belief. 3. Families in the lowest income bracket spend most of their budgets on rent. According to Harvard University's study, in 2018, around 10.9 million renters, equivalent to 1 out of 4 renters, spent more than half of their income on housing. Unfortunately, the number of households experiencing severe housing burdens increased in 2018 by 155,000. Despite the previous year's modest declines. This means that there was only a total improvement of 483,000 households since its peak in 2014. Moreover, 72% of renters earning less than $15,000 per year were severely burdened. 2. It's unimaginable for a low-wage worker to afford a house. According to data from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, the median home prices have reached a new high of $440,300 in the second quarter of 2022, surpassing the $400,000 mark of the first time ever. Almost 2.5-time increase compared to the prices at the beginning of the millennia. And a low-wage worker with a wage of $725 per hour would never afford a house today. 1. According to the U.S. Labor Department, the average expenditures on absolute necessities like housing, transportation, food, personal insurance, and health care accounted for 3/4 of the total household income in 2021. Conditions of low-income families are even worse due to inflation, as they spend a higher share of their income on basic needs. To illustrate, households in the lowest 20% income bracket spent 41.6% of their total expenditure on housing, while those in the highest 20% income bracket spent only 30% on housing. This leaves them with little to no money to spend on higher education, better health care, and childcare, which are essential for the future development of a healthy and prosperous citizen. Overall, recent economic trends don't leave much optimism for the future of average households in America. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video and share your thoughts on the subject in the comments section below.